episode 4.
Yes,
Dropping
sir.
value, bringing it. We got Terry Preston, and I'm here,
Yep.
Robert Lyon. Today, we're just going to kind of go over some frequently asked questions about wholesaling real estate, and just kind of talk and shoot the shit. And I hope you guys really enjoy listening. We're going to definitely drop a lot of value, so be sure to stick around.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Like Robert said, we're going to be going over some common questions asked by new people who are trying to get into this wholesaling business. And, this is a topic that we definitely should go over because I had a lot of questions and I had these exact same questions when I first started. So I know me and Robert have probably answered these, just from talking in our other podcasts, but we're just going to go over specific questions, just so they're answered for you guys. So I'll start off with the first one. One is like, people ask, do you need a license to wholesale real estate? And the answer is no, you do not need a license to wholesale real estate. You do need a license depending on where you are to sell property. However, you're not, as a wholesale person, you are not selling, you are assigning properties to a buyer. Yeah. Okay, so you do not need a license to assign something. That is what we are. We are assigners. So you do not. So to answer the question, no, that is why you do not need a real estate license or any type of license to wholesale properties.
Yeah, and the whole thing is like, if you're becoming a licensed real estate agent, all you're really going to learn is like, how to stay out of jail. That's all they really teach you. They don't teach you anything about real estate. But the main difference is when you're a real estate agent, you're representing the homeowner and their best interests, which is like, that's a pretty big deal. If someone was going to represent me, I'd hope they'd have a license. Whereas as wholesalers or as real estate investors, we're just representing ourselves. We're buying houses for cash. And there's a big difference in that. It's like an investment opportunity. Whereas we're not saying that we know Mrs. Jones and we're trying to sell it. We're just trying to make them the best offer that we can on a house.
Right.
Sell
exactly.
that property.
Like Mrs. Jones would rather not go find a real estate agent, pay them a real estate commission, go through a whole 60-day process of trying to sell the property. Mrs. Jones wants to sell the property as quick as possible. She wants to be out of there and she wants cash for it, which is why we are wholesalers. That's where we come in.
That's the problems we solve. What's the next one?
Next one I got is this a good deal or not? Is this property a good deal or not? I've gotten off the phone with somebody and called Robert right after they're asking, is it a good deal or not? He's done the same with me. Like, guys, you're going to be doing this for a while, especially if you have a partner, you'll be reaching out to them, wondering if this is a deal or not. Basically, that comes with experience and that comes with knowing your market, getting a feel for the numbers in your market and just honestly being able to run your numbers correctly. You guys running your numbers correctly consistently will allow you to get good numbers and get accurate numbers. So that way, when you see a property, you'll know how to the correct way to get a number, and you'll be on an accurate path, a consistent path of getting good deal, of knowing if it's a deal or not. So
the first thing though, like that I've kind of found is like, if we get a deal and I'm like, oh damn, like I wish I could buy that like right now, like that's sick.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that almost always turn into the most profit for us. So that's a good sign. If you have a question in your mind, like, is this really a good deal? It might not be. I mean, if it's a hot market though, almost anything can be a deal right now. But definitely check your numbers. My fast thing that I tell everybody is look it up on Zillow. All right. Whatever price is on Zillow, multiply that by 0.6. That's going to give you 60% of the Zillow price. And if you can get it for anything around there, you're usually in a ballpark of being able to wholesale that property for cash. But I mean, we had a deal this week in Phoenix, and I was talking to the guy. I don't know. He actually called me, so I didn't even know who he was or really. So I looked up his property and I was trying to make him a fair offer. I was like, well, we could probably be around, 300,000. And then he said, well, I've already had 4 people call me and they've offered me 500,000. And I was just like, well, shit, bro, like take that deal to the bank, bud. Like that's all you. So
exactly. Take that and run.
Take that and run. Calls. And I thought I was pretty on point with my numbers, but these markets are just getting more and more expensive so quickly. You really kind of, if you're starting out wholesaling, it's kind of good to have a feel for a market and understand like, hey, in this area, if I get anything for like under 350,000, like that's a deal. Like that somebody's going to be interested in that property. So that's just my thought.
Exactly. That's perfect. That's a great way of like off the bat, knowing if it's a deal to really work on, to get it to the best number. So that's a great way to look at it, Robert. Yeah.
Yeah, wait, one more. The other thing is the 1% rule, or like the 2% rule. So basically, this is what investors look at, and they say if the house costs, 200,000, then 1% of that is going to be 2,000. And that's pretty much what the rent needs to be at for it to be able to make money. So that's like one of those real estate investor things. So like if you're getting a house for 150,000 and the rent is only going to be like $500 a month, that house is probably never going to be very profitable for you, except for inflation prices. So a lot of real estate agents go by the 1% rule, and it's just basically 1% of what you're buying the house for the rent. And if the rent is good, then that can be a good deal for a lot of investors, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah, guys. So if you see a deal and you're like, yo, I wish I can buy this deal, I wish I could get this property, like that's a indicator right there. That's definitely, something that's definitely probably a deal. You should definitely look more into that.
Yeah. Well, so be careful though, also, because I've got another buddy. He bought like 3 houses in Baltimore, and he thought they were amazing deals. And then we were kind of digging into it after he bought them. And like Baltimore is one of those markets where some parts of the area are like sketchy, or like if you buy like a piece of crap house out there, like it's not going to go up in value because it's just not the best investment. So, just be smart, know the market a little bit better, maybe hit us up on Facebook or YouTube if you have a deal and you're not sure if it's a deal or not, for sure.
Right. Yeah, guys. But the best way to answer it, experience is going to be the best, the best teacher and lesson for you personally. Yeah. When you're trying to comp out and do your numbers. But Zillow's definitely great. But if you have access like Batchleads, PropStream, other platforms, to get a good number, definitely reach out and run your comps, because having comps, from a bunch of different areas is definitely the most accurate, the most helpful. You don't want to be relying on one thing. Another question we have is, do I need money to start? And the answer, guys, is again, like depending on your market, where you are, but real honestly, no, you do not need money to start. Like that is a fact. You can do a deal. You can a seller might not ask for a down payment at all, and you guys, and if the escrow used doesn't ask for a deposit or a payment like that, you guys are good. There's no money that has to come up out of your pocket to get started on the deal and find a buyer. So
you can start with the goose egg, and you're making money with other people's money. That's the cool thing about this business. That's why it's so sexy. It's like, oh, you mean if I find one deal, I can make $10,000? And we're like over here. Yeah, you definitely can. You just got to put in the work, and you got to educate yourself on how the whole process works. But then once you do that, it just kind of becomes a numbers game. And I mean, any business that can make money from nothing is good, but any business that makes lump sums of money, it's really good. That's why a lot of people are getting into this. That's why it's pretty interesting, but you don't need any money to start. I mean, I would recommend $1,000, probably saved up a little bit, just to buy some softwares, maybe put down money for escrow, just little stuff like that. And then you can also boost your marketing and stuff like that too.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that. Just if you have money, just see what you can work with on your marketing skill and aspect like that. But to answer that question, no, you do not need, you do not have to have money to start. Yes, sir. Rob, you have any questions? I got another one on.
Yeah, if you got a good one. Mine's by like who, why, what, where, and can, and all those weird things. So here we'll answer one of these ones. Let's see. How is wholesaling real estate legal? So how is it legal? Well, as long as you can buy houses in America for cash, you can wholesale real estate.
Exactly. And it's legal because, again, you as a wholesaler are not buying it. You are assigning it. So, you guys, like, that's why it's not illegal, And also, depending on the market, you might not even need, a license to buy some property. So that, it really just depends.
It's a terrible metaphor, but we're like the easy pawn of houses. Like you need money fast. Like bring your house in here. We'll buy it for this, then we're gonna sell it to somebody else for more money, whatever. When they
no, I got you. Yeah, no questions asked, right? No, come on. Definitely make sure you ask as many questions as possible.
Yeah. What's your question about?
No, that one I was about to say is it illegal? That was one I had.
Oh, nice. All right, I got one. What is virtual wholesaling real estate? You can answer that, Terry.
Okay. So basically, virtual wholesaling real estate is wholesaling real estate in a market that you are currently not in a market that you cannot drive to. Like again, me and Robert, we were working in Alabama. That is us virtually working in Alabama. We are looking up properties, talking to motivated sellers, trying to find this kind of properties, trying to talk to buyers, all in Alabama, while me and Robert are from our computers, while I'm in New York, Westchester, New York, and he is in Arizona. So that is what, a wide scale of what virtually wholesaling looks like.
Yeah. Okay, so states where wholesaling real estate is illegal, there's always going to be a situation where you can make a wholesale deal happen. Like, we're solving problems, right? People, investors, or people are upside down on their mortgage, or they need cash now. Like, if they don't get their house sold, they're screwed, right? So the only states where there's weird rules is pretty much Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, you just have to get a license now for $200, and you can be a licensed wholesaler in the state. And as long as you do by the rules, you can still wholesale. In Illinois, Illinois is one of those weird states where, like the lawyers and the real estate agents weren't making enough money. So they made like a law basically saying that you can only assign one contract per year in the state of Illinois, which is a pain in the ass, but there's always ways around it. I'm not sure if you can double close. I do know that you can buy a house with an LLC and then sell the LLC. So there's always opportunities to be able to wholesale. And then the other state that's kind of weird is Oklahoma. Actually, I don't know if the law has passed, but they voted to pass a law in Oklahoma that you can't market properties that you don't own. So you can still wholesale properties, but you can't put it on Facebook or Craigslist saying it's your property, which totally makes sense. Like, as wholesalers, we should be putting it on Facebook saying we have a contract assignment for this property, instead of saying this is my house or something like that. Because I bet one old lady probably like bought a house and gave them all cash, and then they weren't the real owners or something. Like, there's always those bad people out there. So
you give wholesaling a bad name and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it happens.
And then like there's some weird law in Colorado where if you wholesale a property, you have to have a written agreement that the seller of the property knows that you're getting an assignment fee. But what I've found is I still do deals in Colorado, and I just use a different title company. So but if I had to explain it to the seller, I wouldn't have too much of a problem doing it. But that's what I've done. Yeah, because it's kind of a new law. So don't worry about it though. There's always a way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. You are definitely telling escrows that do not don't share everything you don't mind.
Yeah. So all right. So here's another one for you, man. Is wholesaling real estate easy? I want to hear what you say.
Is wholesaling real estate easy? No, definitely. Wholesaling real estate is definitely not easy. No. However, like it's not the hardest thing in the world, but it's one of those things where it's a grind. You're gonna have to hustle to get, definitely to get your first deal. It's definitely gonna be a hustle. And I feel like once you're able to get a consistent method or a consistent, path, or like, once you know your numbers and know, when you're bound to get a deal, I'll say it'll become easier, knowing when deals are coming, be on a consistent, a consistent path to getting money. But it's also real estate easy? No, I'm not gonna know. It's not easy. I'm not gonna say that.
I know. I'm always telling people it's easy. It's not.
No,
I mean, I've done worse shit. Like, I was in the army in the oil field, man. Like, compared to that, this is pretty fucking easy.
Come on, like
getting a job, man. That shit makes me take a Tylenol. So this is easier than that for me.
But like, I guess like you gotta talk about like a scale of what's easy and what's hard. Like,
yeah,
making a lot of money, fast. Yeah, this is the easy way. It's the easy method to make a lot of money quickly, but it's in essence, no, it's not easy. Compared to other things, it can be easy, but doing it, no, it's not.
Yeah. If you've listened this far in the podcast, it might be easy for you. If you left already, it depends on your attention span. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But again, it's all networking too. Like, like I said, if you're in our mentorship talking to us, wholesaling can be very easy for you, because if you're starting out and talking to somebody who's in it, who's talking to consistent buyers who has a whole process like we do, once you find that first deal, you don't have to go through the process of having something under contract and not finding a buyer, or not knowing where to look, or, if you're in if you have a mentor or in a mentorship, it really just elevates your game. And it's just a matter of you talking to that person who's in it, changes everything for you. So I guess it could get a lot easier if you're in that position.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's just like any business, you do something for a while, it gets easier as you go, because like you're going to find buyers that want houses, and you're going to find sellers that need to sell their house. And then you're just going to connect them. And sometimes you can just do it with one phone call and make more money, than most people make in a week. But you got to get to that point though.
Exactly. You have to, it starts where you have to network. You have to go out and find that person so where you can make that one phone call, So
yeah,
exactly.
And then also,
I got another question.
All right, do it. No, it's all good. Drop your question.
Got you. Oh, so one here is how do I find buyers? We kind of went over that on how to find cash buyers. Let's use PropStream, and I'm using Batchleads. If you're in our mentorship, you've seen all those videos. I'll just go over it again. So yeah, using Batchleads, PropStream. Like we said, networking through your local Facebook groups. Just trying to figure out, if you just type in like auctions in your area or something like that, just trying to find out where people are buying properties. Those are some ways to just find buyers. But if in our mentorship, go look at our videos, guys. We have like 3 to 4 videos on how to find buyers.
Yeah. And then like one of the questions I always get asked is like, what do you do with taxes? I don't know why that is a worry for everybody, but I guess most people are on W-2s or whatever. So whenever you do a deal, or what I do at least, is I have a separate bank account just for taxes. So then each deal that I do, I put a % of that deal into that bank account, and then I pay taxes quarterly. That way I'm not going to get slammed at the end of the year by Uncle Sam and just be screwed. So that's pretty much what I do to pay my taxes. But that's how you can stay organized if you're self-employed or doing anything like that. So
also having an LLC with guys will help you out with taxes as well. It's okay to do, your first or second deal, maybe a third deal, maybe under your name. But, once you're getting on a consistent path, you're going to want to do all those deals under an LLC name. That is something you definitely want to do. Rob, we'll do a video on the benefits of why, how you having deals under your LLC name and having under your personal name.
Yeah. I mean, what's cool is once you do some deals in your LLC, then you can actually ask for loans or business loans for your LLC to buy houses and fix properties. But you need to do at least 4 deals and have your name on the HUD and prove that you have income coming in and stuff like that. So that's more advanced, but that's pretty sick. So I mean, the only question I can see that we haven't really asked on my thing. Oh wait, I forget. I lost it.
One question I found, how important is marketing? Marketing is very, very important, guys. When starting on real estate, marketing is a part of your job. It goes hand in hand with helping people out, because in essence, once you get a deal, you're marketing that property. You also want to be marketing your brand, your LLC. Getting your name out there, making sure you're reaching as many people so people know, what you're doing. You want people to know, all your friends, everybody in your hometown. You want them to know what you're doing, because you never know. Someone might have a property that you can help them out. Information that they don't have. So definitely marketing is a must to do, guys. You guys should be doing that every day. At all times. As much as you can.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's all marketing. Facebook, emails, talking on the phone, texting. It's all marketing. You got to get yourself out there. You got to talk to a lot of people to make a lot of deals happen, essentially. All right. So the last one that I got on here is wholesaling real estate worth it? I think so. I think, fuck yeah.
It is. This is way it's proven. The fastest way to financial freedom is finding discounted properties.
Yeah.
Guys, yes, it is 100% worth it. 100%, guys. Don't ever think it's not. Don't ever let anybody tell you different.
The fastest way to get into to get financial freedom is real estate, and the fastest way to get into real estate is wholesaling, because it all comes down to getting good at talking with sellers and making them offers and connections with buyers and networking with people that have the money and the funds. It's just like, anything in life, but this is a way to really get ahead. If you're just, been stuck and haven't been able to find a way to get out of your, small town or your shitty job or whatever, this is a way that you can do it. And I believe it is worth it.
Yes, guys. And you could do like I said, it's a great part-time job as well. When you come home from work, take 2 to 3 hours out of your day, do some cold calling, send us some text blasts, whether it's like rating social media platforms, whether it's, networking, stuff like that. This is a great part-time job as well.
Yeah.
So guys, it is definitely worth it. And I feel like once you guys see, like for the people who are doing it part-time, once you see the success as compared to your 9-to-5 job, like, I feel like you'll definitely switch over, slowly, gradually definitely switch over.
And I found what is reverse wholesaling real estate. And basically reverse wholesaling real estate is where you find the buyer before you find the seller. So that's pretty much all you do. Instead of going out there and finding a deal, you go and find a buyer. For a long time, though, I believe you should find the deal first and then build your cash buyers list. But I'm kind of biased now in both ways. Either way, it doesn't really matter which way you do it. But it's good to have a buyer in place. What do you think?
So both is definitely a hustle, like we said. Whether like to get to the point to be able to making a phone call to a buyer and having him sign up on a property immediately, that sounds so super lovely. Honestly, I would rather be, if I had to pick sides, I guess I'd probably be on that side. Having a buyer who will close on a property if it's a deal, and you just having to go out there and find a deal, that a wholesaler already found. Finding that wholesaler that has the deal already, and you be like, I have a buyer right here. It's I feel like once you get to that level, it's definitely less work than having to, talk to the seller. Making sure you're talking to the seller once or twice, even 3 times that week. Making sure you guys are always on the same page. Whenever they call you, got to answer because you're helping them out throughout this process. Making sure you're as transparent as possible. So if I had to pick a side to be on, I definitely would, I guess, reverse wholesale. I like to have the buyer right here on my side and just going out and finding the wholesaler who has that deal.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody wants to be connected to the money, because if you can't find the money, you're not going to get paid for the deals. But there's a lot of buyers out there. There's, hedge funds, and you got your mom and pops that do stuff. You got your fix and flippers. You got your 1 and 2 people that buy 1 and 2 houses a year. There's lots of people that are really trying to do it. Doctors and lawyers and people have a lot of money and it just sits in a bank. So they want to find good investments, and we're able to bring those people, good investments for their houses and stuff like that.
Right. There are really people who are out there who want to know the information that you have and that you're going out there getting every day. So by you marketing yourself and you showing what you have to offer, it just opens the door for people who have those problems to just go right to you. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that we pretty much blasted through all the questions. You got any more over there?
I
guess here's one. Wholesaling real estate with a full-time job. I think you can definitely do it. You just have to if you can do 1 hour a day, or like, a couple hours on your weekends when you're not working, that's the ideal thing. You just got to put on that real estate hat and say, I'm going to just focus on this for 1 or 2 hours a day, and I'm going to find my deal on my time off, basically,
right.
or while you're at work. We won't tell.
Like real estate, is like it's another job, So if you are looking to do another job on top of your full-time job to make some money, real estate is definitely that job to do, because, like I said, it's flexible around your time, and like I said, take 2 hours to 3 hours, 2 hours max a day, whether it's cold calling or sending out messages,
Yeah, or just like one day on the weekend or whatever. And like you can get a deal passively. Like we've got methods where you got to work 30 minutes a day, and then you basically book the appointments with, sellers on the side, but I'm not allowed to talk about that. For your days off. Oh man. Actually, I got to tell you that story after this, Terry.
Anyways. But
yeah, is it a good idea? Yeah, I think it is a good idea. Can you wholesale in Canada? You can wholesale in Canada. I wanted to wholesale this $1 million house in Canada, but it didn't quite work out. So in Canada, you got to do the thing where the real estate agent will write a contract for the seller and write a contract for you, and then you have to assign that to a buyer. Yeah. So it was $1 million Canadian though. So that's like 5 American. No, I'm just kidding. But no, you totally can. We've actually got a student, I think in Australia, who's virtually wholesaling in the US too. So you can virtually wholesale from anywhere in the world in the US, which is pretty sweet. I think you can do it in the UK. Again, I don't know. You got to go ask your local real estate people, I guess, in your country or wherever you're at.
Exactly.
That'd be pretty wild. You living in like, middle of nowhere, and then the title company just mails you a big old check for virtual wholesaling in the US.
Right?
That'd be pretty sick.
Another one I have here. Can you work with a real estate agent?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if me Robert ever went over this, but yes, you definitely can. So when a seller works with a real estate agent, the agent gets a 3% commission for helping that seller out selling their property. And so the cool thing is say you don't, and what you would need is to, like, say you see a property on Zillow that you wanted to try to wholesale, to try to buy it for. You would need a buyer's agent, to help you out finish that deal. And the cool thing is you can use that same agent, real estate agent that's working with the seller as your buyer's agent, and they can get the 3% from you as well. So that is 6% that the real estate agent can get. So that's definitely a benefit for them wanting to work with you. That's just more money. Who would want to turn down more money? And so then once you build that relationship, then the real estate agent can also be sending you deals that your buyer may want. I spoke to a real estate agent last week, and about some properties in Baltimore, and now he sent me, I want to say 4 properties already, just to see if I was interested in. Because I explained to him, using him as my buyer's agent and getting him that extra 3%, so that way he walk away with that 6%. And they'll love hearing that. So yes, you can definitely work with a real estate agent. I advise you to go find one, like Robert just said, locally, and see what you guys can do together.
Yeah, the other cool thing is, like, if it's a fix and flip property, the real estate agent will sell it to your buyer. Just give it to you almost usually. And then once it's fixed up, they ask that if the fix and flipper is going to sell it, that they be the listing agent to put it back on the market. So that's another way. And real estate agents will bring you deals.
Exactly. Can't argue with that. Getting brought deals, getting brought leads it's great.
Yep. And then wholesaling real estate for beginners. Start by listening to the podcast. Learn as much as you can. And I mean, like, when you're just starting out, all you have to worry about is just finding one person who's willing to sell you their house. So
yeah,
you can call homeowners on Facebook, Craigslist, Zillow, Redfin. There's lots of ways to just kind of get into the zone. And then you just got to make sure it's a deal for not only yourself, but for an investor. But you just got to get one house under contract. That's all you got to worry about at the beginning. And then once you get that house under contract, then you can worry about everything else. But you got to find a buyer. Exactly. But then you can build your buyer's list. And once you build that buyer's list, then you can find out where they really want properties. And then you can go hunt after those properties. So as a beginner, just educate yourself and then just commit to finding one person who's willing to sell you their house. Any other beginner tips?
Yeah. One is like, do I need a mentor, or do I need, should I join a mentorship? So you guys can learn all this information. You can learn a bunch of information. You guys can teach yourselves off YouTube, YouTube and other sources. All the free content that we give you guys, other content like Bigger Pockets, stuff like that, Pace Morby, all of them, they have great information for you guys to be using, to do it alone. However, it is a much slower process because, again, you are by yourselves, and if you have questions, you can look them up, but you don't really have that person that you can text or call or really reach out to give you the best answer or the most simplified answer for you that you'll understand. When you find a deal, when you want to get on a contract, where am I going to get a contract from? Who's going to look over the contract? Stuff like that. Is my contract good? Those are things that if you're not in our mentorship, we can't provide you a contract that's been looked over by an attorney already. That's good to use. Things like that. What do I do if I can't find a buyer? Just, questions like that you really can't reach out and text. Those are the things that you're going to lose out on by not being in a mentorship or having a mentor. Possibly always having leads. If you're in our mentorship, you'll get provided leads, that to follow up on and stuff like that. You're not going to have that. By you not being in a mentorship or not having a mentor in a mentorship, there's a lot of doors that you're closing off to yourself That's not necessarily saying you can't get a deal. However, the process will be a lot slower.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're in a mentorship, have a mentor, the doors that open up are definitely which is why you should definitely look for one, you know, or look to be in somebody's mentorship. Correct. Yeah. Definitely are. So
I'm obviously very biased on this, but I have very little faith in people that are going to do it all by themselves. Like there's going to be those outliers that can totally figure this whole game out all by themselves, and, you know, more power to them. But the average person, no, like I don't have any faith in people being able to do it all by themselves. You might get one deal, and then you'll probably quit though without a mentor. You need that mindset. You need the guided like path. And then like if you do anything with people, like a lot of dumb shit happens. Like it's just like across the board, no matter what if you do, when they're dealing with a lot of people, dumb things happen. So you're going to have like, you know, pre-foreclosed houses, fucking taxes on the title. You can't find a good title company. Tenants will burn down the kitchen, or, you know, just dumb stuff happens all the time. And we've already been through those roadblocks, you know, 100 times, and we figured out how to get past them. And we're just going to be able to give you, you know, fast forward you to the front of the line to getting deals, getting profit, and doing this thing.
So basically, guys, definitely join the real estate mentorship if you guys want to get deals consistently at a much faster rate.
Yeah,
because it is life changing. It is definitely life changing.
So I got wholesaling versus flipping. And I mean, flipping, you're going to make a bigger profits, but it's more risk. It's like
a lot more risk.
I mean, my whole wholesaling career started because I failed at flipping a house. So I bought a house with my VA loan. It was actually from somebody, and I was fixing it up. I got it completely done, and I made it all awesome, and it was fixed. And then I went to visit my family for Christmas, and we came back, and the water heater had fallen through the floor, and the whole house fucking flooded, and I had to fucking sell it for like way less or whatever money. And then I was like, and then people tried to wholesale my house, so that was my first thing that really piqued my interest. I was like, what are these fucking people doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my first thing. But then, you know, flipping is awesome if you're into, you know, construction and fixing things and making things real nice. You know, I mean, I think flipping is pretty much, you know, probably the future of what we're going to be doing a lot of is, you know, rentals and flipping and stuff like that. So it's whatever you really want to do.
Yeah. If you love real estate, you'll love it all. Like you'll love taking the risk. You're definitely gonna, I wouldn't say fail. It'll fail, but you know, learn your lessons from it. You know, everybody. So, but definitely flipping versus wholesaling. I say you're gonna do both. You know, if you love real estate and you're wholesaling, eventually you'll be a flipper. You know, like you'll tackle everything in real estate once you fall in love with it. You know, so
yeah,
I wouldn't like say verse.
I think it all starts with wholesaling though, more or less, because if you're a flipper, like they sexify flipping on, you know, LGTV or whatever, all those weird shows, like they get to fancy flip this house, but they get the deals from wholesalers. So you got to be on the grind, talking to sellers, making the moves, and then you can build it up. And then we get crazy deals all the fucking time, you know, and you wouldn't be getting these crazy deals if people weren't out there hunting for them, wholesaling and stuff like that.
Exactly. Like if you're wholesaling, you have your system built in place and you become a flipper, you now are your own lead generator for these discounted properties, and you know, you're not cutting anybody, you're not making any cuts or anything like that. So yeah, they go hand in hand.
Yeah. And then I got another question is like wholesaling or being an agent. I would always choose wholesaling over being an agent, but you could become an agent and then wholesale virtually in other states, depending on your state's laws and stuff like that. But I'm not sure. What do you think?
For me, I definitely I'm wholesaling. So I chose definitely wholesale. I would choose wholesaling mainly just because, you know, I don't know, maybe that more so, I guess, independence of really just going out and getting like really by yourself, you know, starting from, you know, nothing. You know, being an agent, there's nothing wrong with it. That's awesome too. But, you know, if I had to do it over again, I still would do wholesaling first and then eventually get my, you know, license to become an agent.
Yeah, I mean, I might get licensed someday just because, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But mostly because, like, the problem I don't like about being an agent is you got to pay yearly. I mean, it's at least $2,000 to get your license. And then you got to pay yearly commission fees to renew it. And you got to pay money to the brokerage. And you're making money for a brokerage and they don't do anything really. I mean, I bet some brokerages probably give you leads or something like that, but I don't really know what you're paying them for.
There's a real estate agents who use the same software that we use. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, they'll probably have more doors open, you know, or I would say, you know, yeah, you know, maybe more doors open, you know, as being a real estate agent, but nothing nothing super crazy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I would still pick wholesaling.
You got any other badass questions, or I think we've dropped a lot of nuggets in this. I think we're good.
I guess I would say how to make sure this is a good, make sure it's a good lead, how to make sure I'm talking to a good seller.
Yeah.
Basically, that is really qualifying or making sure you're qualifying your seller, making sure it's actual a wholesale lead. And so one thing it is the timeline. You know, does the timeline fit 14 to 30 days? If they're looking to sell in 14 to 30 days, then yes, that timeline fits. You know, I would say condition of the property. I guess that could play a part. That could play a part in it too. But I guess property that's going to need going to need some work, you know, into it is definitely a good sign, because the seller knows that they're going to definitely have to lose some money in the property because it's definitely going to need some repairs. So I guess the timeline, condition, those are two things you want to look out for. Price as well. You know, if they're already shooting out a top dollar price, you know, before you guys even do anything, they're already somebody who's probably going to want to listen with a realtor, or they're not really going to, you know, want to even talk about a wholesale price. You know, so, you know, their startup price, the condition of the property, and their timeline are definitely, you know, three things to help qualify your seller. You make sure they're motivated enough.
Yeah, I think motivation is the key for a seller.
They gotta have some type of motivation.
Yeah.
I guess that could be another one. There's gotta be a reason why this property has to be causing them some type of pain, some type of problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
or they're just ready to get rid of it.
Or ready to go. Like, you know, if they want to leave and they have to stay because of the house, that's a problem. So, like I said, those four things will definitely help qualify your your seller, to make sure that it's an actual good wholesale deal. It's a good lead.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, honestly. Drop some bombs just now.
We are kind of growing our real estate business. So if you've listened this far and you're looking to cold call or do some computer stuff and stuff like that,
yeah,
be sure to send us an email. Say you're hungry and you're ready to get going, because we're looking to expand. We're growing acquisition, people that can do some website stuff and some Facebook marketing. So if you're looking for a job, or if you want to work with us, just hit me up and let me know.